One of the things I wanted to kick it off here with is some like cool facts about Irish American inventors. I always like the inventors and stuff like that. The Abe Sinclair says, "Make like President Biden and tighten your green screen." I know. I gave him a whole thing like, "Yeah, my green screen's always tight." Not always tight, but that's all right. And then you could also see the top of my screen. I need to fix my monitors. They're all jacked. One's right now is all we pushed back because it almost fell on me the other day, and this one is encroaching on the whatchamacallit. But yeah, this is a very tight operation I'm running here, right, guys? It's very much very tight. But one of the things that this is something I thought was cool, and I actually just learned this looking this up earlier today. Color photography was invented by an Irishman. This is certainly one of Ireland's most prolific inventors. John Jolly was responsible for the meldometer for measuring the melting points of minerals, the steam calorimeter, and for specific heats, and the photometer for measuring light intensity and use of radiation for cancer treatment. That's freaking awesome. But what he is most known for, however, is the invention of color photography. In 1894, that was a lot earlier than I realized that they had color photography. This Irish genius from Hollywood County in Offaly, found a successful way of producing color photographs from a single plate. He changed the way we see the world. So the reason we're able to see all this in color today is thanks to John Jolly. And that is quite the happy name right there. um, let's see. We have makeshift speakeasies. Punctuation was always supposed to be in. Punctuation was also supposedly invented by the Irish. No crap, really. Yeah, as the drunker we get, the more are written out. The more the stenographers needed punctuality. They invented the exclamation point. So now here's another cool one. Is transatlantic calls. It's a long way from Skype, but it was an Irishman who knighted his work in establishing the Atlantic telegraph cable in 1865. Lord Kelvin Thompson helped to lay the cable which stretched from Newfoundland to Valencia in County Kerry. That is man, some of these things like 1865, that's another one that seems so much earlier than I would ever think for a transatlantic call. I wonder if they're talking about telegraphs. But he also had a very keen interest in the measurement of the Kelvin scale. That is for thermodynamics. Oh, duh, it says that right here. Yeah, that's there's an ancient anti-gravity formula that it says 200. It's the pressurized. See if I can remember this. Mercury plasma, 150,000 atmospheres, 50,000 RPM. Forget how much Kelvin. 150 degrees Kelvin. This is I always think of this. I always think of this anti-gravity formula. Website's risky. The risk I'm willing to take. Oh, go. No, I didn't mean to say go back. Right. Crying out loud. Don't make me type that in again. Hold on. One more time. Pressurized Curie plasma. 150,000. This is supposedly an ancient anti-gravity formula. 1,000 RPMs. And from what I understand, this allegedly comes from some of the old Hindu doctrines. This has been around for thousands of years. See, the plasma is mercury based, pressurized at 250,000 atmospheres at a temperature of 150 degrees Kelvin. Thank you, Lord Kelvin, who also invented the transatlantic cable and accelerated to 50,000 RPMs to create a superconductive plasma, resulting in gravity disruption. You know, that does seem like the sort of stuff that you'd be. Now, I know they've done tests on this. Well, I believe they've have achieved all this, but I I believe one of the things they say above ground, anyways, they say, oh well, it gets too hot. It's hard. It's really hard to keep it cool while they're doing the 50,000 RPMs to keep it cool, everything around it cool enough not to melt, but to keep it at 150 degrees. So that's what I always think about when I see Kelvin. So I think that was pretty cool. So let's see what we got here. Everyone join us. Paul Mack, you rock, brother. Thanks, thanks, man. Matt Jones, were you the one who made the multi-part Through the Looking Glass? I didn't make a multi-part series, but I made one called Through the Looking Glass and Beyond. That actually went pretty viral. I had a couple 100,000 views at the time. So maybe you're thinking that, but I know there's been a lot of good series. So the multi-part one is definitely another one you're thinking of, but there is a chance you might have seen that one as well. Yeah, he is. Amen. Blue Eyes. Oh, I just ran into Blue Eyes in a chat before in Space Force, not Space Force News, on One Foot in 5D's chat. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you and yours as well. Just one part. The spinning wheel on a pipe. Yeah, amen. Andrew Meacham, Sean Romano. All right, so we got some people hanging out here. Hey, Handsome Sean, what's up, bud? Handsome Sean, the D Live. This Guerre. He had surgery, so he can't stick in there. Oh man, I don't even know what's going on in this chat. Slancha, what? Yeah, Sean Joe. Slancha means cheers in Irish, in Gaelic, I believe. Thank you for the diamond. I remember there was a bar. There was a job we were doing on Bowery. Well, Bowery is really 3rd Avenue in Manhattan. And we're doing on Bowery and Houston. And there's a bar across the thing. We kept calling it Slanty. We're like, hey, we're going to go to the Slanty bar, right? And one night we were in there, and I guess the bartender overheard us call it Slanty. He's like, it's Slantra. And he was all like weirded out. We're like, man, I don't know. It looks like Slanty. But I'll never forget that. And there was one night, sometimes in concrete is, it's a rough life. Let's put it this way. And we were out, when they pour concrete, usually you do a floor every other day in New York. It's called 2-day cycle. It's like the only place on earth. Everywhere else is either a 3-day to a 5-day cycle. New York, every other day you build the floor of a skyscraper. That's why it burns people the hell out. But they'll pour it, right? And especially if they do a late pour, sometimes it's the surveyors. We're on that concrete. You have to wait for it to harden up and different things working around people. Sometimes you could be on there all night. And then you have to make sure it's ready for the day before. So sometimes you could be there to 7, 8 at night. This one night we were there to, oh my God, it must have been 10 or 11 at night. There was still something. Sometimes it just doesn't set up right, the concrete. And you have to wait. And we're like, we're going to have to come in the morning. It's already 11 o'clock at night. By the time I go back to Jersey, and it's the dude I was working with, Dave, great dude. He had to go all the way upstate New York. By the time we go there, we're going to like, what, have 1 hour of sleep and then come right back. So we're literally like, Plancha? Plancha. And then we go to the bar. We gunned a couple beers. We passed out we gunned a lot more than a couple beers. And we passed out in the shanty. That's what they call the office, the shanty. And literally got like 2 hours of sleep, and then we're up at 4 in the morning because it starts at 7. Up at like 4 a.m. to try and finish out the last little piece of concrete. And so we're there. We finish it out. The job started now at like 7:30. Like I'm just feeling the effects of it. I drank way too much. I'm like in the porta-john puking, and so I could go back to work. They were like, and it was quite the scene. But sometimes you just gotta get it out of your system really quick, and then you feel better. So then I felt better, and I was able to finish the second day. So it was almost like 2 days in a row. But good old New York concrete war stories. You gotta love it. And see, Eddie Bina, happy St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day to you too. Mad Matt Self, what's up? What's up with that Biden video today? His hands. Oh my god, I know. It's funny. I saw people were like, "Oh, it's a different perspective and stuff." Dude, it's totally they layered him on. There's a few things about it too. I don't have the. I wish I had it. Do I? You know what? I guess I do have it on thing because there's a couple things I noticed. We can just go over really fast. What's St. Patty's Day without a little? I mean, it's green, right? So you get a little green screen action. Oh, you know what? Yeah. So this first, you know what? I could go. Let me go to the full video. There was stuff I noticed. You know what? That might have a copyright. Let me just play it here. So first of all, when he's walking up, right? So one of the hardest things with Photoshop, and I mean, I do a lot of video. You guys know I do a lot of video editing. Not as much as I'd like because it takes so long, and obviously that would take all my time if I was doing all video edits. But one of the things is the hardest thing to make look real is the feet. And look, when he rolls up, they have it on his feet. So anytime you want to do an edit of something, first of all, look at him right here. I don't know. It's just something. It looks like he's standing in front of a green screen to me. It's just, I don't know. It looks like he's in a higher definition than everything else. But either way, look, they don't show his feet. They crop out his feet, right? You can just see a little bit come up, but for the most part, they don't show it. And then look at his hands right in front of the mic. Look at that. All right. Here's the most damning part. Because now someone showed a different angle, right? And they were like, oh, well, this mic is just from a different place. Dude, this mic, look how fake this is. First of all, this mic, look at the size of it. Like that. It's half the size of his torso. Either that's the biggest mic on earth, or that's because the perspectives are all off. If this mic was really behind his hand, I mean, look, is this freaking big? You know, in relation to his hand. That mean it would be a mic this freaking big, or the perspective is up higher in the thing, and they just forgot to mask it out, right? They masked this one out, but this one is not necessarily masked out. This one might just be in the green screen record. But someone was saying it was the perspectives. They showed another video where it's all the way off to the side here. Like, dude, this isn't off to the side. Look, this is either right under his hand. This is an angle. You're barely even at an angle here. There's no way. So this was totally. And then at one point when he's walking up, look, his head is his hair. Oh, it's cut off with my banner. Well, either way, right now, let me see. His head, it blended in. That's a telltale sign as well. Okay. Anyway, that is that is to me it looks like so fake. Why would they fake it? Yeah, I mean that's a good question. I mean just maybe because they're not in Washington right now is the only thing I could think why you would want to fake that is but it doesn't. I mean a lot of this doesn't make sense either. But it's just whatever that to me you can't convince me that that wasn't a green screen. That's a layered video. I mean I've done tons of layered videos. You guys have seen a lot of my meme videos where I'm literally cropping out every freaking point that I can to put on. I know what it looks like. So yeah, total fake news. Total freaking fake news. On purpose to say it was doctored. You know what? That could true. That sometimes I think they purposely do things that are just enough one way or another, so then they could be like, "Look at these crazy conspiracy theorists." That they certainly do stuff like that all the time. They're pretty calculated. They play dumb sometimes, and some of them are stupid, but a lot of them aren't as stupid as we would think. Um, so here's another cool one. Something that I thought was pretty cool. Well, This one I'm especially thankful for an Irishman who accidentally discovered the cure for leprosy while he was looking for an answer to Ireland's tuberculosis problem, and that was a lucky mistake. Vincent Barry made this accidental and miraculous discovery with the catchy title of a compound B663. The compound, why is that catchy? The compound would go on to cure 15 million people of this devastating disease. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think that is pretty freaking awesome. And we could go into another one as we go on here. I was gonna say. So I was thinking, I don't know, did I jam a tune or two? There's probably, I don't know, a lot of there. I guess there wouldn't be traditional Irish songs, but I used to love me some like Flogging Molly and Dropkick Murphys and all that. So we could like maybe rip out one or two here. Like at least try, right? Is that the? Will I get an A for effort? Monitor's really. I have duct tape somewhere over here. That's how I have all this staying up is duct tape. Good old duct tape. Duct tape really is the answer to everything. And I don't know if anyone remembers. Boy, this is like when I was a kid. So depending on how long ago we were watching, we used to have me and my brother. My parents got us a UHF TV one time. And I remember we were like, why is it in black and white? But we were just so happy. It was like, we have our own TV. It was like this little mini black and white UHF TV. And I forget if it got regular channels or not, or maybe this was on UHF, but I remember watching the Red Green show on it. And basically this dude, it was a Canadian show where this dude just did everything with everything with duct tape. And it was freaking awesome. And from that day, that was like the time when I realized duct tape does cure everything. Um, let's see. All right, so it looks like everyone's saying, yeah, jam out a song. The Pogues. Okay, when I told you that my buddy Gerald was like a friend of the family, he's the one who helped me learn how to play guitar, gave me little tips throughout the years. He actually did a song with the Pogues. They knew the Pogues, and anytime I only know the Pogues through him, and then anytime Shane McGowan would come into New York, he would call them up, and they would hang out, and it was the Pogues, and then I think he did the Popes. That's the only reason I even know what the Pogues are is because of Gerald, because he was in this band, and then they knew each other, and on Gerald's album, Shane McGowan does a song with them. So I always thought that was so cool. Um, I don't know I don't know if I know the Pogues well enough though. I really only know them through them to play a song. Like a lot of these I've never played before. So as you guys know, I'll look up the chords and I'll try and play it as it's scrolling. The Castle Drummer saying Red Green Show. Yeah, it was like a Canadian show. This dude was like a maniac. He just, like I say, did everything with he fixed everything with duct tape. Dude, all right, where am I? Right here. Pogues were great. Stinger's teeth are free. Yeah, that's Shane McGowan. Uh, the guy was like an Irish guy. Was like a multi-millionaire who looked like you would pass him on the L train. You know, trying to like play his friggin' play his song. I used to love that. There were always some different subway stops. Like one time I was doing a job. It was Lexington Avenue between Third. It was between Third and Lexington on 59th Street. I want to say, and it was the Bloomberg Building. This is the subway stop I had to take to go to the Garden every day to go home. There was always a band playing down there. I used to just love that. You know, I just like love live music, and it's just such a cool atmosphere. You have people like chilling, and some of them are so freaking good, man. And well, actually, I mean, most of them really, they're just awesome. Let's see. All right, so here, pop out the live chat. look up. Why don't I play? All right, Dropkick Murphys. I don't know, Skip Up to Boston might be a rough one to play with chords, but what about like the Warriors Code? I could do that. Anyone know the Warriors Code? Friggin', that was always my favorite. That was my favorite Dropkick Murphy. Yeah, I like these streams. Yeah, I hang out. I can read the chat a little more. Definitely feel a little bit here. Mad, Mad Matt Self said, I bought an electric guitar just to pinstripe it. Still haven't painted it, but it's fun to play around, make a couple blues riff. Is pinstriping, you mean because you're a Yankees fan? Or is that like a guitar term? I'm like the best, worst guitarist ever because, like I said, I taught myself, except for a little help here and there from people in real life. But I don't know like the terms. Like people like, yeah, man, did you get like the second rave, blah, 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 with these pickups? And I was like, my guitar was gray. I don't know. Like, I'm like that guy. But pinstripe it. That would be sick. That's like Scott Ian of Anthrax used to have a white Yankee guitar with the pinstripes on it. I always thought that was so sick. If that's what you... I'm a custom painter. Oh, sick, dude. All right, let's see if I... Hey, you know what? I think I could do this. Little pinstripe like hot rods. Sick, dude. You're a fighter. You've got the fire. The spirit of the warrior, the champion's heart. You fight for your life, cause the fighter never quits. You make the most of it, your hand you're down, cause the quitter never. Didn't go as fast as I thought it would be. I promise the next one I'll nail a little better. Do Alice Cooper go to hell next week? Oh, that's a good one. I used to love me some Alice Cooper, man. I used to. There's one time I'm talking. I don't remember it. Freaking Alice Cooper. There was one like Teenage Lament 74 was always my favorite Alice Cooper song. That's when it was the Alice Cooper band. So some people don't realize is the first half of his career, even though it almost says Alice Cooper, it says Alice Cooper just the same. But the first half is technically Alice Cooper band. A lot of like School's Out and $1 Billion Babies and stuff like that. And then a lot of his other stuff, even though it's also just called Alice Cooper, was him in his solo project. And that's like, we're building a house of fire, baby. Building it with our love. We are building this house of fire every time we touch. That was always one of my favorite ones. That's a good song if you ever meet Twin Flame. Oh, we're building a house of fire, and it's definitely resonate home. It'll have a double meaning. And put the swamp in the background. To listen, it's old. Roy, I'm not sure. Not sure you mean, but man, I'm glad you're hanging out. Um, the polar eclipse says, "Who here remembers Suicide Solution? Wine is fine, but whiskey's quicker." Friggin' you know what? I used to know how to play. I guess you were an Ozzy fan. That's a song off Ozzy's debut solo album, Blizzard of Oz. I used to know how to play. This is a classical piece that goes right before that song. Oh man. The end. I improv the end a little bit because I don't remember too much. I mean, I'm literally. It's been so long. Now, the thing is, I wish I had my classical guitar. If you see, it gets a little tight there, and a classical guitar has a wider neck, and the nylon strings sound so nice. But it allows you just so you have more room for your fingers, and it's always like this, something like this. It's just kind of like gets in the way a little, but I always love that. Yeah, and then it goes. It's fine, but whiskey's quick. Um, yeah. So I hope you're still in chat. Polar Eclipse 6. I hope that yeah, it's impossible to play. So nice though. Yeah. I actually, I used to be able to play the whole thing. I just it's so specific. I probably haven't played it fully through in 15 years. I used to have it on. That was one of my earlier uploads on my channel, probably from like 2011, was me with my classical guitar playing D all the way through. And it's just one of my favorite classical pieces. But definitely that's what you up. Is everyone having a good time tonight? 3 time zones away. Followed you. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've been liking Gab. Uh, Definitely an awesome platform. Now, moving on, if you will, an Irishman, actually, the Mad Mechanic, created the modern tractor. Harry Ferguson was responsible for the original Ferguson system of tractor, was patented by the Mad inventor, 1926. This county down loony also invented his own motorcycle, race car, and plane, and in 1909 he was the first Irishman to fly. Originally a bicycle repairman, he even built himself the first four-wheel Formula One car. His name lives on in the Massey Ferguson Company. That's so cool. Like, it's always, some people are just so ingenuitive, man. I swear, it's just so impressive, to be around. And this is the one that I was the most surprising. It's like one after other: tractor, submarine, and tank, all all in the same play. And said, "This man probably took a lot of slack for this invention. An underwater boat. We'll believe it when we see it." But it happens that in 1881, Count declared John Philip Holland was the first person to successfully launch a submarine, first of its kind. It was called the Fane Ram. By 1900, the U.S. Navy was formally commissioning the project. That's cool. I was wondering, that's where the Holland Tunnel is. The tank and the tank. We like to get around, us Irishmen, right? We like to, we're very mobile people. And I have some more stuff we're going to too. I just thought this was a cool little thing that I was reading earlier. I saved it, but it said when the Home Security in Britain, Winston Churchill commissioned the design of a vehicle capable of resisting bullets and shrapnel, crossing trenches, flattening barbed wire, negotiating the mud of no man's land. This is what our Dublin boy came up with. Came up with a tank. We also have the guided missile. It was by Louis Brennan. I said it. I had a partner at work one time, last name Brennan. Oh, Bradley. You're like, I'll tell you the truth, Bradley. And anytime he said, I'll tell you the truth, Bradley, you knew he was about to lie to you. And we used to laugh. We were like, listen, anytime Patty says, I'll tell you the truth, just forget it. Just disregard anything that comes out of his mouth following, I'll tell you the truth. But that was a fun job in general. Sure. And that whole job was straight up Irish dudes right off the boat. We're like, oh, hey, the narrowbacks. Call everyone narrowbacks. But man, I never saw, they would like stab each other in the back like crazy. Then it can't, Chris 33 can't DM on Gab though. I know. You know, they had DMs for like a week, but then Twitter did their bans and Gab's got so influx, I think they put it on hold. So it's like they have it half set up, but it's not ready to go. And that boot says still on Twitter, not there much, mostly just a DM. Yeah, Twitter has been so boring after the thing. I'm still on there. Funny, it's weird. A lot of the people you want to reach are actually on Twitter. So to me, it's like I don't want to leave it for that reason. Also, there are a lot of people who made the purge. I don't post on there much. I assume that's why I did. But I'm really not something they would care about too much. Pamela McKenzie's saying that James Hoban, an Irish architect, is who designed the White House in D.C. See, that's so freaking cool. I wonder if that's on that. I don't remember reading that on this list. No, yeah, it's not. Um, let's see. James Hoban. Architect of the White House. Oh man, 50 grand. Yeah, no big deal. We just designed the White House, guys. James Hoban's life is a memorial Irish American success story. Boyhood, he learned the craft of carpenter, wheelwright, became an architect by profession, a builder by trade. Hoban came to America high ambition and designed and erected many buildings. But what kept his name alive today arises from one special commission. He was the architect of the White House. Oh, thank you for pointing it out, pal. That's freaking awesome. Christian 33 said, went down with the POTUS purge and twatter. Yeah, that sucks. Just tagged you on Gab, the song, enjoy. All right, I'll definitely have to check that out, Roy. Debbie Rash says, "Oh, that's my Cash App." Yeah, definitely. If you guys ever want to support what I'm doing, the Cash App is the best way. Super chats are good too. Obviously, super chats on YouTube are good, but YouTube takes like 30%. I'd keep that in mind. The D Live, you definitely get more from the D Live, but anything always definitely helps. Is 100% viewer funded, but definitely tonight we're just hanging out. So obviously, no one. I don't know why would you want to do for this, but of course it all helps. But see, first sounds cool. I promise a laugh. All right, I'll definitely check out that song. Okay, we got Wonder Why. Hello, Brad. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to the St. Patty's Day live stream. It's always fun to hang out. Phil me. Oh, thank you for the diamond. D live. So quite generous. So what was I gonna go on to next? This is the one. I thought this was a cool little thing about the history. You guys know I love history, so I've read up on this in a little bit back in the day. I always think it's cool. Pamela Kennedy, you still need snail mail for mailing some cash. Well, I actually do have. Careful what you wish for. I do have a PO box now, and for anyone who'd ever want to say, I haven't really brought it up, but go to logicalbread.tv for anyone, and you don't have to go here for the PO box. Of course, you guys could just go here to check out anything logical. This is this has all my links. This is my link tree, and links to my Gab, Twitter, my video for my Rumble, BitChute, and of course, super chats if you'd like. But these are playlists, documentaries, memes, parodies, montages. But also, you come up here, my contacts. I have a PO box now. So this is how I got. On my next one, I got a shirt from Zoso Dude. And is Zoso Dude live right now? Thanks. All right, don't tell Zoso Dude that I went live. I just realized the time. Yeah, he sent me a shirt through this. I thought that was cool. But everyone's been asking me for like 3 years. And guys, it only took me 3 years to get a PO box. All right, give me a break. But so that was my first PO box ever. So it's definitely you can definitely get everything, but you can get everything on logicalbread.tv. And really just all the contacts. Say, this is for a merch, but it also has social media. Has all my music. The merch store is just my Teespring. I think I've sold like 2 T-shirts in 5 months. I don't push. You guys know I don't mention this stuff really. I feel awkward mentioning stuff, but this is a link to my music site where I've just re-uploaded. I wanted to re-upload everything separate this time. Just because I lost 12 years worth of music on back in October, so that was a gut punch as well. But here is like this will be in this live stream jams. There's different things I have. I think from a regular page in here too. But I was able to re-upload some of this stuff. Like this is a whole video album that me and my band, the Onslaught, did back in 2011. Ode to America, where I cut it to all different things. Like the first one's all cut to the Patriot. We were like very patriotic band. We always loved America. This is nothing new for me, but it's this particular one. I mean, if you don't like metal, you might not like it. A lot of death metal, but the first song is about America, and then the second one is all about it's a whole Clint Eastwood montage. Clint Eastwood, that's the most American dude there is. And then this one was all like Scarface and like Goodfellas and stuff. This is kind of like the underground of America montage. The underworld, if you will. Yeah, it's Godfather. And then I did a whole Rambo montage for this song. All like my favorite Rambo scenes. Because I mean, it's Rambo. Come on, what's more American than freaking Rambo? Play it a little. I'll probably get a copyright strike just because of this. I mean, I could play it other music. I don't know if it's small. I don't think I get a copyright. This is the song I used at the end of my New Jersey Revolution video. Funny, a lot of them, my music I've used in a lot of like some of like Second American Revolution. At the end of that, if anytime you ever heard metal or someone wailing out on guitar, that was actually me in those videos. Oh man, dude, I edited this for like literally a month straight. I was like, yeah.
It's over! Nothing is over! Nothing! It wasn't over! You asked me, I didn't ask you! And I did what I had to do to win, but somebody wouldn't let us win!
But yeah, and then this was Colonel Allen West was always my favorite, man. That dude's been my favorite, obviously, since at least 2011. This is who, if you would have asked me, who do you want to be president for like a good 10-year stretch, the answer would have been Colonel Allen West. Well, we're all racist, right? But this was a whole 9/11 tribute, and you know, I was a little more gung-ho about kicking radical Islam ass back in the day. I still think radical Islam is a problem, but I just have a better understanding of it, I guess, obviously, than I did in 2011. But I still, you know, a song, and then this was, see, this one I could play a little bit of because this one isn't a movie montage. But I'll just play a minute and then we'll go back to the St. Patty's Day live stream. I think it's cool that you guys would even care enough to check this out for 5 seconds.
Now, we must be ready for a new game. The atomic bomb. The atomic bomb. The teacher is explaining that there are 2 kinds of attacks, with warning and without them.
Don't breathe like that, it'll make you feel really strange.
This in the background, the overlay with the flashing light, is a glow stick fight from a fish show. But I needed something like cool. And it was just all basically, the whole theme of this was how like, the whole theme of this video was about how they keep you in fear. We're like, oh my god, it's gonna be like catastrophes and all this stuff, and basically how they try to keep the public in line with fear. I think that was a little more red pill than I thought over the clip. Like I was getting like, saying this is my big like fancy like overlays and stuff, like the Wizard of Oz, like we're not Kansas
There's a
anymore.
bright flash, brighter than the sun, brighter than anything you've ever seen. You are not ready, did not know what to do. It could hurt you in different ways. It could knock you down hard, or throw you against a tree or a wall. It is such a big explosion, it can smash in buildings, knock signboards over.
You love it, Sean Joe. You know you do.
Break windows all over town. But to duck and cover like birds, it will be much safer.
Who has the 17 in chat? Hey, all right, that's a good over.
First, you duck. Then, you cover. You cover the back of your neck, your face.
This is like the old, I feel it's called like the old ancient math. Maybe I'm going by used to be so into that stuff. This is actually CERN. This is back when I thought CERN was cool. This is the atom smasher. Going into the famous video with all the... This is that anti-gravity formula. This is what that's for. These are the ancient Brahmanas. I was overlaying like blueprints of the ancient Brahmanas. This on the bottom here is one of my favorite things ever. It's going to come back. So Dance to the Tension of a World on Edge. It's a lyric from a Guns N' Roses song. It's Garden of Eden. It's like my favorite Guns N' Roses song. But it's just the best line ever. Oh, remember this dude? Vietnam Tom. The dude messed with him on the bus. They threw him an ass kick and I love it. Fresh Mountain
Always remember, flash of an atomic bomb can come at any time, no matter where you may be.
Okay. There we go. That's the end of not the good, the bad, the ugly, for I believe for a few dollars more. Like my mistake, be coughing. Like pops them all out. But yeah, so that one, yeah, the rest were all montages. But anyway, this is my music page. So this is always like I have a lot of for all my
Optimum's best.
these are all my how come this has a friggin' because this is on. Yeah. So I actually got monetized. I remember I made fun of it in the stream, dude. It was the next day they monetized me. And I remember I was like, I applied for monetization like in November, and it was at the 14-day period. So I was like, that'll never happen. Literally the next day, it was like, you've been approved for monetization. I was like, but and awesome. Even though I don't use that page, don't use this page that much because I can't do anything on here. But oh, here Zay Blue Eyes is in the chat right now. This is a song that I did with Blue Eyes. She helped me out so much. All these other songs is like me and my acoustic. You know, me like trying to this is all through the years. Yeah, 13. This was always a favorite one of mine back in 2009, 2008. Some of these are like I won't play it, but this is like just me and my friend improving and stuff like that. A couple of these, like this one isn't even mine. Someone came over with lyrics one time, like, and I put music to it, but most of these are mine. But let's just got random little stuff like that. And these are all instrumentals. This is the Onslaught. This is that band you just heard. This is Valhalla, my first metal band, which actually has singing. So if you like metal with singing, which I also do love, I don't know, just something you guys could check out if you so wish. But you can find that all on logicalbrad.tv. That is on. I probably should change this for merch because it's not just merch. But obviously the home where you got all the stuff. This is all the stuff you guys want to see, obviously. That's just little added stuff. And the documentary is honestly everything you want to see. Everything we're like, everyone's like, what happened to your old videos? Right here. Documentaries. That is what you want to click. Logicalbrad.com. My live stream schedule. I won't be on tomorrow with Methods. Methods is taking little time to chill. I think he says he's going to be back on Monday. He really did. That dude was doing a million shows. I don't blame him. Taking a little time to chill, to be honest. But what you call it? Now that I got sidetracked, hey, we're all hanging out, right? So it's not nothing wrong with a little sidetrack action, correct? There we got 87 people on D Live, and what did we have? See, Blue just said I thought that there was 17 people to YouTube. Now, this is what I wanted to get into for a minute. Oxel, you can't tell, but it says 231. I believe that's unique viewers. So that's cool. We're on there now. Again, pretty badass hanging out with you guys. Do a little Patty's Day stream. RYTV dinners. Love to hear Brad play. Don't need vocal massacre. See, you guys all look at death metal the wrong way. You got to look at it as like a percussion, like it's part of the drums. Half the times, all of us really love like the music so much, and the thing is almost like a beat, like it's almost like if you look at it like percussion, your mind won't focus on it. See, a lot of people with regular music, it's all like the same three chords, and then it's all about the lyrics and the melodies, right? So you're kind of like used to listening to music for that. But for people who like metal, no one even knows the words half the times. No one cares about the lyrics half the times. It's the actual song you're listening to, the actual music. So it's almost like a classical music type thing. And so that's definitely a way you can enjoy that. But you know, it's not for everyone, of course. And definitely there are things like I like some rap, but then a lot of it annoys the crap out of me. A lot of country annoys me. So yeah, you know, I definitely you gotta dig what you dig, you know. So if you're not into it, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. But Motorhead, oh my god, Motorhead's one of my favorites. The song Bomber is like one of my favorite songs ever. This is something cool. I thought maybe we could look at a brief history of St. Why do we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, and who was St. Patrick? On March 17th each year, everyone, millions mark the traditional feast of St. Patrick, patron saint of Ireland. Here is everything you need to know about the history, the traditional dish of corned beef and cabbage. I hope everyone had their corned beef and cabbage today. I used to hate corned beef and cabbage growing up. Now I'm like, why? It's like the freaking best ever. So St. Patrick, patron saint of Ireland, was born in Sukkot, Christian family in Roman Britain in late 14th AD. So it's funny, he actually wasn't really Irish; he was Roman. So it's kind of like St. Patrick, I guess, is technically Italian. So he's Italian and Irish, like me. Shortly before he was 16, he was captured from the villa of his father, Copernicus, by a group of Irish raiders who took him to Ireland and forced him into slavery. 6 years later, he escaped home to Britain. His religious faith strengthened during his time of slavery, believing he had been called by God to Christianize Ireland. He later returned to Ireland as missionary, joined missionary of the Catholic Church, adopting the name Patricus or Patrick, which derives from the Latin for a father figure. He played an important role in converting the name Native Irish to Christianity, traveling around the country performing baptisms and confirmations. Now, a lot of you know, Calodro is my confirmation name. That's where I originally got that, and I was still working at the time, so I didn't want to use Brad right away. So that's why I used Calodro for a while, but that's because of good old confirmations. So when St. Patrick's Day was first celebrated. So by the end of the 7th century, St. Patrick had become a legendary figure and was venerated as a saint. Although he was never formally canonized, legends around St. Patrick, which are still told today, include the story that he drove the snakes of Ireland into the sea to their destruction, supposedly after they began attacking him during a 40-day fast. Natural historians have suggested that there's no evidence of snakes. All right, they always do stuff like this. Oh no, you can't find something from 1200 years ago? More, I guess. That's not shocking. No evidence of snakes having ever existed in Ireland, as the country was too cold during the Ice Age for reptiles to survive. Though, of course, may have highlighted the metaphorical link between the snakes and the legend, St. Patrick's promotion of the Christian faith. So you're saying, oh, it could be a metaphoric thing, right? Driving out the snake, the temptation, the Garden of Eden. Red Force said he had a song called Avril Lavigne in the 2000s. Ironic sarcasm about the angst. Shit. Uh, yeah, well, she was good for that stuff. Old Oliver. What was her hit? He was a skater boy, or something like that. A St. Patrick's Day postcard depicts him standing on a cliffside with blue robes chasing the snakes from Ireland. It wasn't until the 1630s that the 17th of March, the traditional day of St. Patrick's Day, of St. Patrick's death, was added to the Catholic breviary as the feast of St. Patrick. By the late 17th century, Irish people were celebrating the day by wearing crosses, ribbons, and or shamrocks. The latter was St. Patrick's used, according to tradition, to explain the concept of the Holy Trinity to an unbeliever by showing him the three-leaved plant with one stalk. Why is the color green associated with St. Patrick's Day? Though green dominates the celebrations today, it was the color blue. I always thought this was cool. A shade known as St. Patrick's blue that was first associated with the saint. The earliest depictions of St. Patrick show him in blue garments, and the color also appears on ancient Irish flags. Though green dominates the celebrations today, the color blue was first associated with St. Patrick. You know, I wonder if it's green because just Ireland. My cousin, man, he went to visit Ireland maybe like 10 years ago at this point. When he came back, I tell you, the pictures, one was greener than the next. It is like, you want to see every shade of green known to man, go to Ireland and just take a picture nearly anywhere. Most beautiful thing ever. I really hope to see Ireland one day. I think that would be incredibly freaking cool. But this is saying that in 1541, when King Henry VIII, I am, was declared the first English king of Ireland. He used gold Irish harp on a blue flag for the Irish coat of arms. The blue shade also appears on the 18th century Order of St. Patrick, Order of Chivalry created by George III. As the blue symbols became more associated with English rule, green grew in popularity as a symbol of rebellion. During the 1798 Irish Rebellion, the shamrock became a symbol of nationalism, and the wearing of green, quote, on lapels became a regular practice. Now that goes to pretty much the 1800s. So this is saying here that it was first celebrated in the 1630s. March 17th was the traditional day of his death. It was added to the Catholic breviary. That was saying. But by the late 17th century, Irish people were celebrating the day, wearing crosses. Yeah, you're repeating yourself now. Just saying that these weren't expressions of Irish nationalism. No, but I guess they've become, I believe that probably became a lot because of the United States, because it became like a celebration of Irish Catholic Americans. Oh yeah, here we go. There was the suppression in 1798, Irish Rebellion, and the flood of Irish Catholic immigrants into America in the mid 19th century. It's one of my family. Obviously, my Irish Catholic family came to America. That the ethos changed, and there was a change in the color as blue, traditionally associated with St. Patrick, which gradually replaced the Irish with the green that it defines today. So, I thought that was pretty cool. The other Pepe, yeah, Saint Pepe drove the snake from Ireland. Thank you. St. Patrick's Day parade. This is, oh my god, I always wanted to go to St. Patrick's Day parade. It always looks like such a party. Now it's probably, they've been ruining everything lately. Probably knows. This is saying it was held in Boston in 1737. Yeah, but what about the one in Manhattan? This is saying at least 1909 back in Manhattan. It's always everyone used to take the train into Manhattan on St. Patty's Day and just get hammered drunk. I never did it. But this is something I thought was interesting. Why is corned beef and cabbage and potatoes the traditional fare of St. Patrick's Day? When he was inaugurated on March 4th, 1861, the 16th President of the United States chose a meal of mock turtle soup, followed by corned beef and cabbage, dish traditionally associated with St. Patrick's Day feasting. Beef was not traditionally an Irish dish. It was under British rule that the cow came to be farmed for meat. The area of colonial rule, beef's prohibitive cost in Ireland meant that it became synonymous with the well-fed British aristocracy and middle class. Later, with the invention of corned beef in the 17th century, and the corn did not refer to corn kernels, but the kernel-sized salt crystals used to cure the beef. It was in Ireland's substantially lower salt tax. It was Ireland's substantially lower salt tax and not the beef itself that cemented its reputation as an Irish export. Pretty cool. As a large number of settlers moved to America, gained greater prosperity, beef was back on the menu, and the Irish Americans popularized St. Patrick's Day as a celebration. The corned beef and cabbage of their ancestors became traditional fare of the day. Actually, cabbage is really healthy for you, full of vitamins. But the corned beef, oh my god, it's very salty, but it's so good. It's so good. Thank you guys for the lemons and the ice cream on D Live. Always much appreciated. Something happened with my mouse where I can't scroll now. So I'm trying to keep an eye out for any donations or anything, but I'm having trouble scrolling up here. Will there be a test at the end of this show? Yes, there will, Matt. They're failing, all right? The Sam Brothers said, I just found your video within the last few minutes. They should up with. I don't know what you meant to write, but as also the king of typos, I feel your pain because I have many things that I hit send and then I read it myself and I'm like, no one's gonna know what that means. In my recommended videos on YouTube. Oh, it's in your recommended videos? That's awesome. Yeah, but I'm keeping it kind of copacetic on YouTube, so this will be more like behind the scenes stuff and jams and things like that. Obviously, you guys all know where to find the good stuff on BitChute and Rumble. I've been liking Rumble a lot lately. Christian 33, good thing this knowledge is in my blood. Amen. Hey, we got Alara, 1 foot in 5D. Cool live stream, Alara. Earlier, I missed the first 30 minutes, and then I made. I'm like, oh crap. Live with Lord of the Foil. And so that was cool. That was like a badass interview. I want to go back and watch the beginning. It looked like you guys were getting some cool topics. The Thendy7 donated 1 diamond, says, play us something Irish. Got it. You got it, Thendy. Are we jamming? yes. We haven't been jamming as much because there's some cool, fun facts that I was going over. I have a couple more. And Foil spilled the beans. Friggin', yeah, Foil, well, about Thursday. Or that you're going to be on Foil. Loyal to the Foil is going to be on my Tuesday, my regular, you guys know my regular Tuesday, 10 p.m. live stream every Tuesday night. For the second half, Loyal to the Foil is going to be coming on, and we'll have a cool interview. And then also, reason why I wanted to get around so fast is they want to plug that Sam Tripoli is going to be on Conspiracy Couch that Thursday, 2 days after that. So that'd be cool. And then it'll definitely be cool to plug that and cool to hang out and talk some conspiracies with Loyal to the Foil, who is a friend of the show. And let's see. So let's jam out here. I have an idea. Okay. This would. Let's do a little flogging Molly. How about that? You guys down with some flogging Molly? Does anyone know what that is? Where's your green? This is I got an Irish flag on my shirt. But it's hitting the green screen. So if I could get right, yeah, there we go. There's the green inside that. Well, Danny boy, the pipes are cold. I don't know if I can pull up Danny boy. Maybe look it up after that. If anyone knows a little flock feel crap in the air. That was always my move, man. Water at the end of the night. Because technically, one time I had read a long time ago that technically dehydration is hangover is dehydration. That's what you're experiencing. All those things is just dehydrated. So once I learned that, oh my God, it would be the end of the night, and no matter how drunk I was, I would just gone a bunch of water, and I almost always woke up. I was never one too much for hangovers anyway, but I'd always wake up pretty good. Thank you, Nathaniel, for the diamonds. Right on, man. Or woman, I don't. Your light is bright tonight, Bradness. Oh, thank you. That's I don't know if you mean literally or not. I need like friggin' lights on me. It's like whenever I have a website open that's white, I have like good lighting, and then I'm going to a dark website. I could just watch when I'm going over the re-uploads. You can just see like a shadow on my face. Godfrey, you have the right hand of Joey Ramone. I know. I always play everything way too fast. Friggin' Oh, that's no effects. What was I gonna say? 24 hours. Like, I used to know I want to be stay. I used to know Rockaway Beach too. We can take a drive to Rockaway Beach. I love the Ramones, man. I used to know a lot more. I used to know Rockaway Beach, and I want to be stated. Anyone ever been to Rockaway Beach? Pretty cool. I remember the first time my cousin went, we were hanging out. He was from Woodside, Queens. Like, all right, we're gonna go to the beach. So we go to Rockaway. I remember like man, I must have been like 16. Because he had a cooler full of beers, and he just hands me one. I'm like, hey, you sure? He's like, dude, come on, we're at Rockaway Beach. Like, all right, and like no one bothered us, and it just got hammered right on the open. Good times. Now they probably like tackle you. Are you 21? Tell me. He'll probably tackle you if got free. No, I took it as a compliment. Oh my God, I thought that I freaking love the Ramones. I definitely took that the right way. When I was in my 20s, I'd crave pizza rolls when I had a lot of beer. It was weird. Yeah, I crave pizza rolls without beer in my 20s and my 30s, and rolls are quite fine product. They really outdid themselves with the pizza rolls, and I want to just thank anyone who invented. If the inventor of pizza rolls happens to be with us tonight, you my man. Oh man. Happy St. Patty's Day to you too, Laura. And Bradness. Oh, we're not gonna do. I'm not doing Methods to Madness tomorrow. Methods. He was like, dude, I need a couple days, man. I'm a little burnt. I totally get that. I totally get that. You hopped on Foxhole a little earlier, but So, but that's okay. You know what? I don't know how he did so many shows. I get burnt off 3 shows, okay, a week. This dude was doing like 10 or something. He was doing something crazy. Um, so respect to that. Actually, it'd be nice. I've definitely been catching up with a lot of stuff, and for people who saw before when I showed my music page, one of the things I was catching up on is re-uploading a lot of my own music because it's had no home since October. So little by little, every now and then I get a couple days. So this weekend I spent a lot of time re-uploading all my old tunes, and again, it's only got 30 subscribers on there, so it's not like it's more from me than anyone else. But it's just it's nice. That's where I could find my stuff then. But I mean, if you guys want to subscribe, you can definitely. I don't know how much new stuff will be on there, but I'll drop a link, guys, and definitely. There's a plethora. I have a lot of corny acoustic songs, but I also have metal songs, and I have instrumentals, and some of classical instrumentals, some acoustic instrumentals, and a whole plethora of things. And a little earlier, we played some of this. This is a whole video album made for the Onslaught. Some parody songs, acoustic covers, live stream jams. But yeah, but like I said, I'm gonna keep this all separate. This time I'm gonna keep the music separate, just so you don't, just in case something happens. It's like so it's not all lost again. That is that. Now, something I wanted to go on. Speaking of drunken lullabies, I always thought this was a cool story. Most of you probably noticed already, but the story of Guinness. I'm actually not the biggest Guinness fan. It always felt like I was drinking a meal to me, but I am not one to talk about beer. First of all, I haven't liked beer in so long. I don't know. It's just something about it. I'd rather drink like a scotch or something else, or even maybe like a glass of wine or something. But when I did drink beer, I always liked Moosehead. And I always like Budweiser, but at some point Budweiser changed their recipe, like literally in the mid 2000s, and it just wasn't as good. But I grew up with Budweiser and Moosehead. That's always my jams. I'd rather a Moosehead, but Moosehead you can't always find in the States, depending on where you are. But this is always a cool story I thought about Guinness and how it was created. It said on a visit to one of the world's largest breweries, learns how an accident was performed. And yes, actually, I know the story. I kind of don't need to read it here, but I'll read it in their words. It was initially a mistake. A batch of beer was accidentally burned, and instead of throwing it out, Arthur Guinness sent his staff to the docks to sell the blackened stout as a discounted price. Little did he realize that he stumbled on a recipe that would essentially sell 10 million glasses a day worldwide. Then 10 million Guinnesses are sold every single day. Is that insane or what? So one of the largest breweries in the world, the Dublin site, now shares production of the famous stout, with breweries in 50 countries. 5 basic types of beer: draft, bottled, conditioned, all malt, strong bottled, and foreign extra stout. 19 variations. These varieties usually made to adapt different flavors, alcoholic expectations. Yeah. I believe Guinness is how you make a black and tan, right? What is it? Bass Ale and a Guinness. Correct me if I'm wrong. All my friends like growing up, it was like weird. I was like, yeah, give me a Budweiser, and they were like, hey man, I'll take a Fat Angel. Like they all knew so much about their beers, and I was just always out of the loop with that. But one of the things they all loved was black and tans. That was the popular one. But all right, I guess it doesn't go into it too much here, but as the story goes, when they went down and they brought it to the docks, they wound up loving it, and they all came and asked for more. So they wound up being like, really? And then that's how the recipe of Guinness was born. It was totally by mistake. And if he would have thrown that out as a burnt batch, no one would ever know. And who knows, maybe it would never be invented again. Guinness floats? Come on, man. I don't know. What's a Golden Crisp? What's a Guinness float? But ice cream, possibly? Listen, add ice cream to pretty much anything, and I'm sold, all right? I'm a fan of ice cream. Can you play some Rush? I mean, I could try and fake some Rush. Rush is such a wonderfully talented band. There goes that cat. Yeah, Rush is. Oh god, I could trying to think. What songs do I even know enough to try and fake? Let me think about that one. Popcorn Party. In fact, you know what? I could think there's one that I might be able to pull off. It's all a matter of how well do I know the song. But Rush is so technical. I don't even know if you could pull off a Rush song with just chords. It was crap try. Um, all right, I'm gonna try this one. And again, dude, let me just. This is what we get. Everything else is like, like, hey, GCD, like Flogging Molly is like GC. This is like E minor 7 C, G/B, G/A. This is what you get when you try to do a Rush song in just chords. But I will give it a shot. Rush is awesome. And show a little love to the Foxhole chat, of course. If it's still going, oh, it looks like it froze. Foxhole's been in and out today. Well, someone's talking about Guinness here. Black and tan snake bite. Can you string some Rush? Yeah, I don't think anyone can sing a Rush. I'll give it the old college try, Joe. I'm just gonna do. Can't get the verse in my head for some reason. Oh yeah. Oh. All right, I'll give this a try. This is gonna be a disaster. I apologize ahead of time. Why try? All right, I'm not gonna play the verse. I'm just gonna play the chord. Fly by night away from change life again. Fly by night away from change my life again. Fly by night, goodbye, my dear. Ship is coming, and I just can't pretend. Rise, thoughtful eyes, staring back at there. There's like so many of us. I can't do right. Sorry, I tried. I really did try. Fly by night. Oh, that was always my favorite Rush album. Though, Fly by Night. They always did. I really love Lord of the Rings, and there's a lot of like there are a lot of Lord of the Rings influence in their lyrics. And I always thought that. That was I should have known better to even try a freaking Rush song. Why try? No, no. We like disasters. Disasters could be fun. I'm certainly not going to pop a copyright with that. So that's for sure. Classic. Bratty one is giving out drink ideas here. I use a secret ingredient in my chili, but since they want people to be less white, I won't be using it ever. Okay, I know what it is now. Coke. It changes the flavor just enough to bring out the chili flavor in it. That's cool. Yeah, I like little tidbits like that. There was something especially you could do stuff. There was a thing called this is just thinking of beverages. Actually, I have one over here. Okay. This thing just talking about beverages and cooking. Okay, so what you do here is when you make a roasted chicken right on the barbecue, and you put a beer. You want to do like a light one, so usually we use a Coors Light. I think you empty it out halfway, but you put it here, and then you put the chicken over it, and as it's cooking, the beer will bubble out into the chicken. And dude, it is like the greatest thing ever. One, the chicken is like the juiciest chicken you ever eat, and two, well, you're making it with beer. And so that is, it looks like this. I don't know if you guys can see. If anyone wants to order it, this is worth the money. And this one I've never used, but we've used it in the past. So we used to, my family is big on barbecue. Oh my god, that's all we ever do is barbecue. And hit up a home band. Canada isn't waste. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, like a home band. Is that like a local band? Nada. Oh man, it kills me that my mouse isn't scrolling right. I don't know what to do. Like it feels like I broke my mouse. For some reason, it won't let me scroll. Oh, there we go. Nathani, hit up a home band. Canada. Not sure if I know that one. Oh, Canadian. You know what I know? Band I used to love that's Canadian is I guess as much as frick was the name of them. What's a good Canadian? What's a Canadian rock band from like the '80s? It starts with an A, I believe. Canadian. They were so popular. The Irish Rovers. Yeah, that's a good one. The Canadian band. Oh, Uriah Heep. Uriah Heep. I believe they're a Canadian band. I don't know if I remember enough to play any of their stuff. Oh, they're from London. No, what am I thinking of? From Canada. Right, Heap's from London. There was another one. Let's see. They were in the Trailer Park Boys, Canadian band, Trailer Park Boys. They're not in it, but they mention it all the time. No, but they're mentioning Rush, obviously. All right. Arcade Fire, Triumph. Oh, it's Triumph. I used to love Triumph. April Wine. That's the band. April Wine. Let's see. What is April Wine's? Let's Grace's. I don't know if some of these I haven't heard. Oh my god. Freaking 10 years. They had great like April Wine had like great guitar harmonies and stuff like that. Joffrey says Canada has never produced a good band yet. Prove me wrong. Well, I mean, there is obviously. I would disagree personally, but I like your American. I like anytime someone American talks shit on anything. Is that bad? Did I not admit that? What's up, Buster? Because we have a rogue pug right here. I didn't have my guitar. I'd pick him. Probably hear him pant. Usually you can hear him snoring in the background. Right now, you can probably hear him go. April Wine. Remember Crystal Pepsi? Who was the dude who bought like a bunch of old Crystal Pepsi and then gunned it? The freaking channel's the best. Oh, the LA Beast here. That dude's the king of YouTube, man. You can go like on a tear. and like watch like 30 LA Beast freaking videos in a row, and you're like, man, dude, what happened? I just wasted the whole day watching this dude like eat crazy stuff and puke. It's funny, man. Dude's the man. Good old Crystal Pepsi. He bought in one of his things. He buys like an old He buys an old thing of Crystal Pepsi, and it's like, oh god, so Godfrey, you're Australian? Oh, right on, dude. We have ACDC. I love me some ACDC. There we go. It was a fast machine. You kept the order clean. It was the best damn woman that I ever seen. It was a sight for size. Taking all eyes. Knocked me out with those American thighs. Taking all the shares. Now, told me to come, but I was already there. Then when walls started shaking, earth was making, my mind was aching. We were making and you threw me all night long. Yeah, you threw me all night long. Double time. Hey Max, I'm gonna ride on, dude. That's like the best friggin' ACD song ever. Ride on, ride on, ride on. Yeah, dude. Good call. What's up, everyone? Having a good time? Let's see. How long has this going? 78 people. And hour and 43 minutes. All right, so let's see. We got like let's keep this like an even 2 hours. I think would be a nice nice little thing here. Let's do. I wanted to just one last thing here. Some facts for Ireland. My mother said I should miss my Guinness. So St. Patrick's Day used to be a dry holiday. Plot twist. As you might expect, St. Patrick's Day is a huge deal in his own stomping grounds. Obviously, it's a national holiday in both Ireland and Northern Ireland. But up until the 1970s, pubs were closed on that day. See, this is that's the reverse. Because in Ireland, every day is a drinking holiday, so they had to do something to change it up. I'm allowed to say that. The one exception went to beer vendors at the big national hot dog show. It was always held on St. Patrick's Day. See, here we always have on the 4th of July, we'll have the Coney Island hot dog eating contest. That's interesting. But before that time, the Saints' Feast was a day considered more a solemn, strictly religious occasion. But now the country welcomes hordes of green-clad tourists for parades, drinks, and perhaps the reciting of a few limericks. But I guess, they're saying they're saying March 17th was the day he passed away. So I guess that could be more of a day of mourning. That would make sense. Sure. Oh, this is okay. This is what I was like, I thought I had it queued up when the friggin' New York City parade started, but then it was on that other one. It didn't have it. I realized it was this one. Okay. New York City's St. Patrick's Day parade has been happening since 1762. So that's been happening since before we were even officially a country. Right, and this is one of the world's largest parades, period. So roughly 250,000 marchers since 1762 have traipsed up Fifth Avenue on foot. The parade still doesn't allow floats cars or other modern trappings. Cardinal Timothy Dolan, the Archbishop of New York, and Miracle on 34th Street. Actress Maureen O'Hara have served as Grand Marshal. 2020, the parade was, yeah, we know. Chicago literally runs green for St. Patrick's Day. You know, I think that's what Chicago means, right? Like Chickagoo. I think it means something river. And I think it's talking about this. And I guess don't quote me on that, but I believe that is where it comes. New York may have more manpower, but Chicago has a spectacle all its own. The city has been celebrating St. Patrick's Day by dumping green dye into the Chicago River since 1962. And though the organizers won't reveal their exact formula, freaking classic organizer maneuver, we do know that the orange powder used is dispersed through flour sifters by the local plumbers union. Hit on. I'm saying, not every city goes all out in its efforts. From 1999 to 2007, the Irish village of Dripsey proudly touted that it hosted the shortest St. Patrick's Day parade in the world. The route ran for 26 yards between two pubs. All right, so it was a friggin' drinking tour, basically. The reason for his shamrocks, we already went through that. That's how he used to demonstrate the Holy Trinity. When he first introducing, not to be confused with the lucky four-leaf clover. No corn in that beef, right? That was for the salt. This one I thought was cool. I'm going to end with this. Americans run up quite the bar tab on St. Patrick's Day. In 2017, it was estimated that 13 million pints of Guinness would be consumed worldwide on St. Patrick's Day. Well, we know that it was saying before that 10 million pints every day is consumed anyway. But in 2020, it was estimated that in America, overall beer sales would be up 174%. In fact, it's the biggest day for bars in the country, and in general, 2020, it was expected that Americans would spend over $6 billion in beer. That's pretty like respected. I mean, I'm just saying it's pretty friggin' awesome. Well, that I guess it would be a good way to end the St. Patty's Day stream. I appreciate you guys all hanging out and chilling for a little impromptu holiday stream. I definitely will try and do these for almost any holiday that I'm home and I can do this. It's always cool. It's always fun. Go on and look at cool little facts and stuff, and I dig things like this. And again, I really appreciate you guys all hanging out. This is definitely a lot of fun, and I hope to see you guys Friday night for the friggin' Friday night show. Friday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and of course Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, where you know where to find me. You can find me at the same Bat Cave, the same Bat place. So, as you know, I'm your host, Brad CGZ, and I will be seeing you soon because you guys are the logical faction. Thank you for hanging out. Happy St. Patty's Day.